We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Kurana. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Passenger plane collides with an army helicopter near Ronald Reagan Airport in Washington with 60 passengers on board. Several feared dead. Major relief and rescue operation underway by various agencies. US President Donald Trump says the accident should have been prevented as questions rise on the apparent approach path taken by the military helicopter. Setback for Canadian PM Justin Trudeau. A Canadian Commission report finds no definitive link of India's role in Khalistani separatist Nijjar Killing. Hamas to release more hostages on Thursday in a third phase of ceasefire deal with Israel. Fourth phase expected on Saturday. US revokes protection from deportation for more than 600,000 Venezuelans to set up migrant detention center at Guantanamo Bay. Congo planning to recover territories as Rwanda-backed rebels advance south. East African bloc urges immediate ceasefire. Well, updates first on U.S. plane crash. Several feared dead in Washington plane crash. The U.S. passenger plane carrying about 64 people crashed into Washington, D.C.'s Potomac River after colliding mid-air with a military helicopter on a nighttime training exercise on Wednesday, prompting a major emergency response in the grounding of all flights. The plane had been about to land at nearby Reagan National Airport after flying from Kansas. A U.S. Army official said the helicopter involved was a Black Hawk model carrying 3 soldiers. Military spokesperson in a statement said the Army chopper had been on a training flight. A massive search and rescue operation was in progress. Police said fireboats had joined the operation on the Potomac River, where any work was complicated by the fact it was dark and close to freezing. Meanwhile, the Federal Aviation Administration ordered the grounding of all planes at Reagan National. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump in a social media post said the Washington plane crash should have been prevented. Trump said he's monitoring the situation. While terming the incident absolutely tragic, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the search and rescue efforts are ongoing and an investigation has been launched immediately by the Army and Defense Department. And U.S. Secretary of Transportation Cian Duffy spoke to President Trump about the incident. Duffy said they will provide all the support that is necessary as crews work through the emergency operation.
I spoke with President Trump and his team in the Situation Room. I had a conversation with Secretary Pete Hegseth as well, and then with the Kansas delegation and the mayor and others in leadership, as well as Governor Youngkin from Virginia and Governor Kelly from Kansas. From the Department of Transportation and FAA's perspective, we are going to offer full support to those on the ground, to the mayor, but also to the NTSB, who is going to be conducting the investigation in this matter. We are going to provide all the support that's necessary.
Well, the chief executive of the American Airlines expressed grief over the Washington, D.C. crash in which an American Airlines aircraft was also involved.
I'd like to express our deep sorrow about these events. This is a difficult day for all of us at American Airlines, and our efforts now are focused entirely on the needs of our passengers, crew members, partners, first responders, along with their families and loved ones.
Well, in a major development in U.S. immigration policy, President Donald Trump has signed the Lincoln-Riley Act, named after a Georgia college student tragically murdered last year. Trump administration also ended extended protection for Venezuelans, and facility at Guantanamo is also being prepared to serve as a transit or detention center for the illegal migrants. Let us listen to this detailed report by Aarti Rana.
U.S. President Donald Trump signed a bill on Wednesday ordering the pre-trial detention of undocumented migrants charged with theft and violent crime. Lincoln-Riley Act is named after a 22-year-old Lincoln Riley, a nursing student who was killed last year by an undocumented immigrant from Venezuela. This is Trump's first piece of legislation since he returned to power.
Under the law I'm signing today, the Department of Homeland Security will be required to detain all illegal aliens who have been arrested for theft, burglary, larceny, shoplifting, assaulting a police officer, murder, or any crime that results in death or serious injury. In addition, for the first time ever, this act gives state governments the ability to sue the federal government for immediate injunctive relief if any future administration ever again refuses to enforce the immigration laws of the United States, like happened before.
The law comes as the Trump administration ramps up efforts to target Venezuelan nationals living in the U.S. under Temporary Protected Status, or TPS. U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced plans to reduce deportation protections for up to 600,000 Venezuelans. U.S. President Donald Trump also unveiled a surprise plan to detain migrants in Guantanamo Bay. Trump has ordered construction of a detention camp to hold up to 30,000 people at the notorious military facility on the eastern tip of Cuba, used for holding terrorism suspects since the 9/11 attacks.
This is a temporary transit, which is already the mission of Naval Station Guantanamo Bay, where we can plus up thousands and tens of thousands if necessary to humanely move illegals out of our country where they do not belong back to the countries where they came from in proper process.
Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel criticized the proposal, calling it a violation of human rights. Amid the immigration crackdown, U.S. military deportation flights have also intensified, with nearly 1,200 arrests being made per day. In response to this, some Maryland families are taking precautionary steps. Fearing deportation, they are seeking legal guardianship arrangements for their children.
It's reality. Some families not had other members in the family had legal issue. For me, it's broken and sad, but it's inspiration. I took the decision, said, you know, had somebody help, I am ready for you. I'm mature and support.
As more families face uncertainty of deportation, and with international leaders speaking out, the full impact of these decisions will unfold in the weeks ahead. Aarti Rana's report for DD India.
Well, Latin American leaders face a delicate balancing act as they navigate Trump's migrant crackdown, weighing confrontation risks against protecting citizens amid cancelled summit and rising tensions. Here's a report.
Facing constant pressure from the Trump administration about deportation of its citizens from the U.S., the Latin American nations are walking a tightrope. They are wary to antagonize a powerful U.S. while aware that domestic sentiments would expect them to present the picture of a strong and independent nation. Latin American leaders have cancelled a summit to discuss U.S. President Donald Trump's migrant crackdown, as the region weighs the risks of openly confronting the firebrand U.S. president. The dispute began when Colombian President Gustavo Petro blocked U.S. military aircraft carrying deported migrants, prompting Trump to impose tariffs and sanctions on Colombia. Within hours, the White House claimed Colombia had folded to its demands, but analysts say the situation is more nuanced. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum denied being afraid of invoking Trump's ire, saying our link with Latin America exists and will continue to exist. Honduran President Xiomara Castro who had threatened to close US military bases, struck a less defiant tone, calling for dialogue and considering chartering flights to bring home migrants. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva remained silent on the treatment of migrants arriving home in handcuffs during the journey, but his government summoned the top US envoy to explain the flagrant disregard for their rights. The cancelled summit highlights the region's struggle to respond to Trump's migrant policies, with leaders weighing the risks of confrontation against the need to protect their citizens. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, a Canadian Commission report has found that no definitive link to a foreign state was proven in the killing of Canadian citizen Hardeep Singh Nijjar, undermining Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's allegations of Indian involvement. The report, titled Public Inquiry into Foreign Interference in Federal Electoral Processes and Democratic Institutions, was released on Tuesday. In the report, Commissioner Marie-Jose Hogue said, and I quote, "This may have been the case with the disinformation campaign that followed the Prime Minister's announcement regarding suspected Indian involvement in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, though again, no definitive link to a foreign state could be proven," unquote. Well, in September 2023, Justin Trudeau claimed Canada had credible evidence that Indian government agents were involved in the Nijjar's murder in British Columbia in June 2023. This had led to a diplomatic row, with both countries expelling each other's diplomats. And moving on, as part of the third hostage prisoner swap between Israel and Hamas, 3 Israeli captives will be released today. 2 women, civilian Arbel Yehud and military observer Agim Berger, have been named along with 80-year-old Gadi Moses as the Israelis set for release. 5 Thai nationals will also be released along with the hostages. In exchange for the Israeli hostages, 110 Palestinian prisoners are being freed and swapped from Israeli jails. Their release is part of the third such exchange since the ceasefire came into effect on 19th of January. 7 women have already been freed in exchange for more than 290 Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. A 4th hostage release involving 3 male hostages is expected to take place on Saturday. The 2 sides are currently implementing the first 42 phase of the agreement, which should see 33 hostages freed. Well, U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday amid the Gaza ceasefire and a regional diplomatic push. The meeting comes before Netanyahu's visit to Washington next week. Israeli Prime Minister is the first foreign leader to be invited to the White House by U.S. President Trump during his second term. Earlier, Witkoff visited Gaza on Wednesday. The U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East is in the region to oversee the implementation of the Gaza ceasefire. And Syria's new leader, Ahmed al-Sharaa, was declared president for a transitional phase on Wednesday. Sharaa was also empowered to form a temporary legislative council for a transitional period until a permanent constitution for the country is decided. The announcements came during a conference on the victory of the Syrian revolution that was also attended by Sharaa, Foreign Minister Asad al-Shaibani and the heads of armed factions. Addressing the conference, Sharaa said the first priority in Syria was to fill a vacuum in government in a legitimate and legal way.
Syria's priorities today are: first, filling the power vacuum legitimately and legally; second, preserving civil peace by striving to achieve transitional justice and preventing acts of revenge; third, building state institutions, especially the military, security and police; fourth, to work on building development-oriented economy that is aimed at re-establishing human, agricultural, industrial and service sector resources; fifth, Syria must regain its international and regional status and establish its foreign relations on the basis of brotherhood, respect, sovereignty and common interest.
And moving on, the Democratic Republic of Congo is plunged into chaos as President Felix Tshisekedi slams the international community's inaction on the escalating conflict in the eastern region. More in this report.
Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi has slammed the international community's inaction on the escalating conflict in the eastern region, calling it a betrayal of the country. The conflict, fueled by alleged Rwanda-backed rebels, has ignited public outrage in Kinshasa, with protesters targeting foreign embassies. Tshisekedi warned of regional destabilization. While the international community has denounced the embassy attacks, Tshisekedi's plea for intervention remains ignored, leaving the region on edge. While an East African bloc urged an immediate ceasefire in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, M23 rebels who seized the city of Goma extended their advance on Wednesday. Congo said it planned a campaign to recover lost territory. DRC President Tshisekedi has vowed a robust military response.
Face à cette situation,
in the face of this situation, let me reassure you that a vigorous, coordinated response against these terrorists and their sponsors is underway. Our valiant armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo, symbols of courage and patriotism, are fully mobilized, ready to defend each inch of our territory.
pleinement mobilisés.
The conflict is largely driven by the region's vast mineral wealth, including cobalt, gold, and coltan. The eastern DRC is home to some of the world's richest mineral deposits, making it a coveted prize for armed groups and external powers. Meanwhile, nearly 300 foreign mercenaries hired by the DRC government surrendered to UN peacekeeping troops in Goma Wednesday night. The M23 armed group, allegedly backed by Rwanda, has seized 2 districts in South Kivu, eastern DRC, after capturing Goma in North Kivu. The advances have killed at least 17 people and have injured around 370, worsening the region's humanitarian crisis. Antara Sinha for DD India.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. India observes Martyrs' Day every year on the 30th of January to honor those who made sacrifices for their nation. As the nation awaits the union budget on the 1st of February, we get to the budget expectations of different sectors and sections of the economy. And D. Gukesh continues dominant run at the 2025 Tata Steel Chess Tournaments in the Netherlands.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Vipakshi Khurana, and moving on, India observes 30th January as Martyrs' Day. The day holds great significance as it pays tribute to India's freedom fighters, soldiers and citizens who gave their lives for the country. Every year on 30th of January, the nation honors the life and legacy of Mahatma Gandhi, who was the guiding light of India's struggle for independence. This day is also observed as Martyrs' Day or Shaheed Divas, which marks a moment of reflection on the profound sacrifices made in the pursuit of freedom. On this day, nation pays tribute to its brave martyrs and remembers their dedication to the cause of independence. In New Delhi, India's President Draupadi Murmu led the nation in paying floral tributes to the father of the nation at Rajghat. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also went to Rajghat and remembered Gandhiji by paying floral tributes there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid a solemn tribute to the Mahatma at the Rajghat on this occasion. An all-religion prayer meeting was also organized on this occasion. And later in the evening as well, an all-religion prayer meeting will be held at Gandhi Smriti on 30th January mark in New Delhi, at the very place where Bapu was assassinated on this day in 1948. And Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the Union Budget 2025 in Indian Parliament on February 1st, 2025. And now let's take a look at the budget expectations from various sectors. Well, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is set to unveil the Union Budget 2025 this week on the 1st of February. Like always, this event will be keenly watched. The Indian economy faced challenges in the first half of financial year 25 amid lower capital expenditure, but this trend is expected to recover in the second half of financial year 2025.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is set to unveil the Union Budget 2025 this week on February 1st. Industry experts believe the government should project a 10% growth in capex for financial year 26.
We are very sure that government will definitely prioritize infrastructure development, which we have seen in past many years during the Modi government. There has been a tremendous focus on infrastructure development. We expect that there will be at least 15% more capex for the infrastructure development in the country, as we have already seen that 1 rupee spent in infrastructure brings a growth of 3 rupee to the nation.
The agriculture sector is hopeful for reforms addressing crop pricing stability through advanced minimum support price (MSP) mechanisms. The taxation industry expects the Indian government to further simplify tax norms and ease compliance.
Reduce the rate of income tax on personal income tax rates from for income up to 50 lakhs to 25% as against 30% right now. We also suggested that the rate of surcharge for income above 50 lakhs should also be reduced. Our next point was to increase the depreciation on electric vehicles so that the sale of electric vehicles is promoted to reduce pollution. We also suggested that the new income tax law should be more simplified from the existing one.
The healthcare industry wants increased government support to address critical challenges in the sector.
Health budget should be priority, and it should not be in any case less than 3% of GDP, so that we can serve common man even in the villages. Though I appreciate Ayushman Bharat is doing very well, same time nation need more budget for the healthcare facilities.
From the budget of 2025, we would expect to focus on improving health access, affordability, quality, and especially long-term infrastructure improvements.
These expectations reflect a cross-sectoral hope for progressive measures in budget of 2025-26 and will drive sustainable growth, enhance productivity and improve overall quality of life. Anil Thomas's report for DD India, New Delhi.
And on to some sports news now. India's D. Gukesh continued his dominant run at the 2025 Tata Steel Chess Tournament in the Netherlands. He defeated Dutch Grandmaster Max Wormenden in round 10 to maintain his lead in the Masters category. Playing with the black pieces, Gukesh capitalized on a critical blunder by Wormenden to secure victory on move 27. Earlier in round 9, he took the sole lead after defeating Leon Luke Mendonca, while former co-leaders R. Pragananda and Nordirbek Abdostorov dropped points. And in golf, Live Golf's first ever international series tournament in India is all set to take place at the DLF Golf and Country Club in Gurugram. As part of the Asian Tour's international series, the tournament features a $2 million USD prize purse and promises to be a milestone event for Indian golf with a lineup of global icons and rising stars. DD India's Abhishek Prasad brings you this report.
DLF Golf and Country Club in India will be the setting for a historical occasion when the International Series India kicks off on January 30. The tournament will be the first of 10 high-profile events on the 2025 Asian Tour calendar and will feature reigning US Open champion Bryson DeChambeau. DeChambeau, who will tee it up alongside his Crushers GC teammate and Indian golfer Anirban Lahiri, will be the first reigning major champion to compete on the Indian subcontinent, having won the 2024 US Open. The two-time major champion is the main attraction in a 108-man field that includes another 12 Live Golf League players, the cream of the Asian Tour, and 25 different nationalities.
My goal this week is just to execute my game plan. It's a very tough golf course, I'm sure everyone's been saying that, but just make sure to give my full effort for the shot that I want, play with as less fear as I can, and just give a good effort out there.
The DLF GCC is expecting a good turnaround and along with the International Series management has brought a LIV golf touch to the event.
Honestly, this is the best track in India, DLF Golf and Country Club. Everybody looks forward to coming here, whether it's Indians or international players. This is the best host club. I'm a big fan of Shubhankar Sharma. He's obviously our star Indian player. So he's really great, and everybody out here also would be rooting for him. And apart from that, there are other players as well. But me being a Bryson fan, I'm also going to support for him.
The International Series India presented by DLF is the first tournament on the LIV Golf-backed series to be played on the subcontinent. The series offers players from all over the world a pathway onto the Live Golf League, with the end-of-season rankings champion guaranteed a place on the roster for the following season. The International Series India tees off at the prestigious DLF Golf and Country Club. This highly anticipated event brings together top golfers from around the world to compete for the coveted title. With its picturesque landscape and world-class facilities, the club provides an ideal setting for this international golfing extravaganza. The International Series India is set to be an unforgettable experience for sports enthusiasts and players and spectators alike. With cameraman Saurav Bakshi, this is Abhishek Prasad for DD India.
For this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.